Today we're making turn signals for both the front and rear of this undersized yet wicked chopper. Exciting that we're getting to this part of the build where I can actually start thinking about lights. And this is what I'm thinking about using for turn signals. Let me show you how bright it is. Check that out. It's really bright, man. It's really bright. I like these because they're super simple. I mean, look at this thing. It's like the most basic, and it's small, which I like, compact. It also is super cheap. You can buy like 10 of these for 10 bucks or something crazy like that. And I'll put a link in the description to these ones that I'm using. I'm also gonna make these really simple. I'm planning on using some 1/2-inch tube. These guys fit inside that 1/2-inch tube quite nicely. Basic idea is this 1/2-inch tube. I'll cut this to the right length, about like that actually. And then we'll slide it on here. And the lights come with this little nut. Go ahead and put that on there. And then we're left with this. Very basic tube-like form. And now I'm thinking onto this little tube I can weld some sort of bracket that then I can attach to the fender on the bike. But yeah, we can then take this guy and then I can make a bracket that I can bolt onto that then sticks this little light somewhere like that. A nice tiny little turn signal back there. I think that would be pretty neat. Alright, so I'm really kind of a scrappy person and I really like using up every little bit of metal I can. And so this is a scrap piece from when we cut the fender up. So I'm gonna start making my little bracket out of this guy. So first up, I'm gonna bend this thing. And then I'm very simply going to stick it into our vise here. There's that so far. And this stuff is not that hard to bend because it's thin enough, so I also want to bend coming back up here pretty quickly. We're trying to go around the sissy bar there. Cut this thing off like right about there. And at this point I'm just sort of messing around. I might not use this at all. And then we're left with this, and this is the nice part about playing with scrap is that, well, it's scrap, it's free. If I don't end up using this piece, no loss at all. And now roughly, this is kind of where I want it to go. Take this bolt out. I want it to go in there and wrap around like that. All right, so now magically I have a hole. Let's sort of try and put this thing on here again. Put the bolt through there now. Now we can bolt this thing on. And now I can use my pen here and start to mark places where I need to trim this back. All right, so we've got 2 of these guys now. I'm gonna go ahead and thread this thing in here, make sure it still fits. That's it on the inside. I just had to make sure it all fits in there. And this little nut, that's kind of why we have this bend here, so that the nut can be spaced off the side here a little bit. Now that it's welded, we had all this extra material to make the welding a little bit easier. But now that it's welded, I'm gonna grind off sides here and whatnot and kind of thin this thing down a bit. All right, so here they are. Here are my little brackets. We can see pretty simple and pretty quick to put together. Let's try it on the bike. All right, so there they are. Lovely little things, huh? If I had known I was really going to end up going this way, I mean, I could modify these, and maybe I will. Maybe ultimately that's what I'll end up doing, but I could modify this and have brake lights on here as well. You know, these are yellow, so I can't multiply these, but I could add on some red ones, and I could have brake lights and running lights as well on here. Total of the lights, maybe I end up with 1, 2, 3 or something on there. All right, now we are going to make front turn signal mounts using some 1/8-inch flat bar, some more of these little 1/2-inch tubes, and some 3/16-inch rod. All right, so I think I need to relocate these. I need to twist these just a little bit so that they're more in a flatter, straight out plane. So there they are. That's the turn signals on there. You can kind of see both of them there. Very simple idea, very simple execution, but elegant. Oh, so elegant. You can see how they sort of float off separate from the rest of the bike, which makes them sort of this less cumbersome aspect onto the aesthetics of the bike. They're kind of separate from the bike, which I think lends it a higher end sort of look. I don't know if I'm right. Probably just my opinion, but I'm liking these. All right, so that's making the turn signal mounts for this custom motorcycle thing here that we're working on. I'm gonna have a separate video on the wiring of the turn signals and everything. My thought is to do wiring for the entire bike in one video because it's a simple bike. It should be, the wiring is, this is as simple as it's gonna get on any bike, so it's probably a good demonstration of how to wire a bike in one hopefully not too long video. But that's just the way that I'm thinking, and if you're thinking something else, let me know in the comments below. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it's helpful. I hope it's inspiring. I mean, this is like a custom thing to this bike, but hopefully it sparks an idea for somebody else that's thinking about doing this. I'm gonna put in the description of this video the links to the little lights I'm using. They're super cheap lights, but they're super bright. I've had some on my car, different colored ones with the same brand, same concept here. I've had those for years and they work great, and they're super bright lights, man, and they're super cheap. So if you ever need to replace them, when we do the wiring on this thing, I'm gonna make sure that it's easy to replace these lights. If one is damaged or whatever, you can easily swap it out, swap in another one, and go on with life. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time. Keep on wrenching on your own project.